Chosen one, give me one complete moment, not because you will lose heaven's love if you leave, but because your heart needs a pause to hear again what matters most. Jesus and I will not abandon you because you became distracted or did not understand a message in time. The love given to you does not depend upon one touch of a screen. This moment is a doorway through which you can return to yourself, recognize what is weighing upon you, and understand what needs to be laid down. Chosen one, do not rush past, simply because your mind has become accustomed to running from one thing to another. No matter what happened today, you still deserve a moment of silence in which you do not have to explain or prove anything. Remain if these words bring peace, but do not remain because of fear. What is waiting for you is not condemnation, but the recognition that you no longer need to live under the control of chaos. Jesus and I call your name not to threaten you, but to remind you that you are still seen during the days when you believe you have been forgotten. No one in heaven is waiting for one mistake in order to reject you. What is being remembered are the times you stood again, the days when you preserved kindness, and the small steps you took even when no one acknowledged them. Please listen carefully. The heavens are not moving because you are about to be judged, and the angels are not holding their breath to see whether you make a mistake. Heaven is becoming quiet around you because stillness helps you hear what fear usually conceals. Do not allow urgent things to pull you away from this pause. These seconds do not determine whether you are loved or left outside the eternal door. No moment of distraction can erase your name from mercy. What these moments can change is whether you continue surrendering today to anxiety or begin choosing through clarity. You did not encounter these words so that fear could hold you here. I brought you here so that you could recognize that your direction needs to be examined through peace. Perhaps pressure, comparison, an exhausting relationship, or the need to please, everyone has pulled you away from alignment. Jesus is not saying that your future is about to collapse. He is reminding you that you can still adjust before wandering too far from what is right for you. What is truly meant for you does not disappear because of one distracted moment. It is preserved by grace and received through maturity. You may feel a prompting within, a gentle pressure, or an inner voice telling you to pause. Examine that feeling calmly. Genuine guidance does not make you panic, convince you that everything will be lost unless you act immediately, or force you to obey through terror. It brings clarity, even when that clarity requires you to face what you have avoided. Heaven is not frightening you to prevent you from losing a reward. Heaven is helping you stop neglecting your health, dignity, sleep, boundaries, and wholesome dreams. The great thing waiting for you may be a mature decision, a necessary refusal, or a step back toward a more balanced life. Today is precious, but it is not the only day on which you still have the opportunity to be loved or to change. Heaven does not close its doors forever merely because you were not ready on one particular day. There is no mystical clock bearing your name and counting down toward cancellation. What is passing is the time of your life, and that is why I want you to use it with greater awareness. Your breakthrough is not hidden behind a test that forces you to prove something. It is built through consistent choices. Resting when exhausted, asking for help when necessary, leaving what is harmful, fulfilling responsibilities, and remaining patient with the process. If you become distracted, the right door does not immediately close. You can return, adjust, and begin again. I tell you that if you remain in peace, the inner obstacles will gradually begin to break apart. This will not happen because you completed a ritual, but because you stopped giving fear authority over you. Do not run, but neither should you imprison yourself within this message. Receive what is good, and then return to your life with alertness. Enlightenment begins when you understand that divine love does not manipulate, threaten, or demand that you prove loyalty through panic. I am beside you to teach you steadiness, not dependence, to help you listen, not fear missing out, and to help you walk in freedom rather than live beneath a countdown. Hold on to this truth. You are loved when you are tired, guided back when you lose direction, and always able to begin again with an honest heart. My beloved child, remain in this moment and listen, because I am teaching you how to stop fighting every current and begin moving with the peaceful guidance prepared for your life. If these words touch a deep place within you, you may express agreement through a simple sign. But remember that no number, button, or ritual possesses the authority to determine your blessing. What truly creates change is a heart willing to awaken, honesty in examining yourself, and courage to leave the patterns that exhausted you. I am not holding you here through fear, nor am I saying you will lose something good if you leave. I am simply inviting you not to rush back into the noise, because 1 minute of sincere presence can help you hear what years of haste concealed. You have fought against the current of life for far too long, like someone trying to swim against powerful water, while believing that stopping for 1 moment would cause you to be swept away. You became accustomed to straining, opening every door by yourself, pursuing people who did not recognize your value, and explaining yourself to places that never truly wanted to understand. Whenever something did not unfold according to plan, you tried harder, spoke more, and tightened your control, because you feared that if you loosened your grip even slightly, everything would collapse. But my child, some battles are not won through pressure. Certain roads appear only when you stop disturbing the water. Some answers become clear only when you stop forcing them to arrive according to the deadline you established. Releasing control does not mean abandoning responsibility. It means that you stop wasting strength upon matters you were never able to control. As this journey deepens, you will recognize that the feeling of being stuck does not always come from a lack of opportunity. Sometimes you remain still because your mind is tied to an older version of yourself. You want to enter something new while continuing to speak in the language of failure. You pray for an open door while still believing you are incapable of walking through it. You desire sincere love while keeping everyone at a distance because you have been wounded before. That contradiction causes you to feel as though you move 1 step forward and 2 steps back. I do not blame you for this. Those defenses once helped you survive difficult seasons, but they no longer align with where you are being led. It is time to thank the former version of yourself for helping you survive, and then gently allow that version to rest. Your waiting room is not a meaningless space. It is where I quietly removed the need to prove yourself, healed your impatience, and taught you to distinguish the right door from a temporary escape. You believed you were being held back because you were not good enough, but many times you were kept still because I did not want you to enter something spacious while your heart remained controlled by fear. A person can receive what they have long desired and still be unable to enjoy it if they constantly fear that it will be taken away. Therefore, I am not only preparing the gift, I am preparing the one who will receive it. As your mind becomes reordered, the waiting room is no longer a place of humiliation. It becomes the room where you learn to sit firmly, recognize your worth, and understand that slowing down cannot erase your purpose. There is a unique ability within you that you have underestimated for too long. It is not a mysterious power that must be proven through exaggerated scientific claims, but the very real capacity of your mind to learn, adapt, create, and build new pathways. When you repeat a fearful thought, your mind becomes accustomed to seeing danger everywhere. But when you consistently practice awareness, gratitude, and discernment, the way you observe life begins to change. You notice choices that panic once concealed. You recognize abilities you once considered too ordinary to matter. You begin to understand that genius does not always need to astonish the world. Sometimes it is the unique way you solve a problem, support another person, recognize a direction, or transform painful experience into wisdom that can help many people. I want you to realign your mind through practical actions, not merely temporary emotion. Each morning, before allowing outside noise to enter, take a brief moment to ask yourself what truly matters today. When a negative thought appears, do not immediately believe it. Ask whether it is truth or merely the echo of an old fear. When you feel compelled to react at once, pause long enough for your breathing to become steady before making a decision. When a goal feels so large that it paralyzes you, divide it into a small step you can complete today. Inner authority is not activated by speaking loudly. It is formed through the ability to direct your attention, choose your response, and remain faithful to what is right, even when your emotions change. I know there were nights when you sat alone beside a window, watched the lights of cars passing by, and felt that the entire world continued moving without needing you. The cold glass against your forehead seemed to remind you of the distance between where you stood and where you once hoped to be. You opened your phone and scrolled through countless faces, messages, and lives presented in brilliant colors. Yet the longer you looked, the more you realized you did not know whom to call. You feared that no one would possess enough patience to understand the depth of what was happening within you. So you remained silent and learned to carry everything alone. That loneliness sometimes convinced you that you came from another world, as though you spoke the same language as everyone else, while no one truly understood what you were trying to say. You do not come from a distant star system, nor do you need a mysterious origin to explain why you are different. You are simply someone with profound sensitivity who notices what many people overlook and senses movements others have not yet been able to name. That difference is not a curse, but it must be managed wisely. Without boundaries, you will absorb everyone's emotions and assume they belong to you. Without rest, your ability to feel deeply will become exhaustion. If you continually attempt to be understood by everyone, you will gradually lose your authentic inner voice. I do not want you to deny your difference, but neither do I want you to use it as a reason to separate yourself from life. You still belong here. There are still people who will understand, work that needs your abilities, and rooms that will become warmer because of your presence. Do not allow moments of loneliness to convince you that you have no one. Perhaps the right people have not yet appeared fully, or perhaps you have not yet felt safe enough to show them your most authentic self. Begin with small but honest connections. You do not need to tell your entire story to someone you have just met. But you can allow yourself to say that today you are not doing well. You can seek a trustworthy person, a healthy community, or appropriate support, instead of continuing to carry everything in silence. I often send help through very ordinary hands, through a timely conversation, someone who knows how to listen, or advice that helps you view a problem differently. Do not dismiss support merely because it does not appear in the miraculous form you once expected. The current I want you to follow is not passive surrender. It is harmony between faith and action, listening and moving forward. When a door closes, you do not need to break it down at any cost. Observe which road is opening. When someone does not respond, you do not need continually to pursue them. Allow their silence to provide information. When a plan is delayed, do not treat it as proof that you failed. Use that time to strengthen your abilities. Moving with the current means that you still steer, but you stop attempting to control the entire ocean. You fulfill your part with honesty, discipline, and courage, and then release outcomes that lie beyond your control. My beloved, I stopped you so that you would remember that you have not been forgotten at the edge of life. Feeling still does not mean the journey has ended. The years that appeared empty were still forming depth, endurance, and the ability to recognize what truly matters within you. Now step out of darkness, not through a hurried escape, but through a peaceful decision. Stop comparing your pace with the passing lights outside the window. Stop using the lives of others as proof that you are delayed. You have your own road, your own pace, and your own work to complete. When you realign your mind, protect your focus, and act from clarity, the waiting room becomes the place where you recover authority. Then you will understand that I never kept you still in order to make you small. I was teaching you how to move forward without fighting every wind. Do not rush past, my beloved. Pause in this moment, take a deep breath, and allow your heart to become quiet before the important truth I am gently revealing. You have carried too much noise, too many thoughts, and too many unanswered questions. There were days when you kept moving simply to avoid facing the exhaustion accumulating within you. But now I am not calling you to move faster. I am inviting you to stop. Remain with me a little longer, not because you will lose a blessing if you leave, but because your heart, which has fought for so long, deserves a moment to rest, listen, and receive peace. Something important is being formed, and I do not want yesterday's anxiety to make you overlook the clarity arriving today. I, Archangel Michael, stand beside you with gentleness and firmness, reminding you, keep your heart within peace, because your breakthrough is closer than you think. You have waited long enough to understand that profound changes do not always arrive loudly. Sometimes they begin with a quiet decision. You no longer return to the place that wounded you. Continue seeking recognition from people who do not value you or allow one difficult day to determine your entire future. If you could see what is being arranged ahead, you would understand that this pause is not meaningless. It is the boundary between a season in which you only knew how to hope and a season in which you begin living as someone who believes that hope can become reality. You do not need to become tense, hold your breath, or keep your eyes fixed upon the screen, as though one distracted second could make every good thing disappear. I do not love you through threats, and grace does not leave you. Simply because you are tired, what I want is for you not to rush back toward old voices before hearing the new truth being placed within your heart. Jesus is approaching not with condemnation, but with a clear affirmation. Tell my child that the change has begun. This change is first taking place in silence. Your surrounding circumstances may not transform immediately, but you no longer respond as you once did. You are beginning to recognize what drains you, what needs to be released, and what genuinely deserves protection. A door that remained closed for many years is beginning to move, not necessarily because you are pushing harder, but because its appointed time is arriving. What was delayed was not necessarily denied forever. Certain opportunities needed to wait until you became discerning enough not to sacrifice your dignity. Some relationships needed to wait until you knew how to love while preserving boundaries. Certain resources needed to arrive only after you learned how to manage them rather than use them to fill insecurity. A blessing being held back does not always mean that you are unworthy. Sometimes I am protecting you from receiving too soon what the former version of you could not carry peacefully. Now what needs to be released is gradually finding its proper place. Waiting does not end merely because certain words have been spoken, but it can end when you stop living as someone still imprisoned by the past. Today may be the day when you decide not to continue nurturing doubt. Stop calling yourself by the names rejection once placed upon you, and refuse to allow former failures to become predictions concerning tomorrow. Receive this message as support rather than a condition. I am not saying that you must remain here in order to be loved. I am reminding you that when you take time to listen, you will recognize that love never left you. Perhaps your chest feels tight, or your mind suddenly seems more alert than usual. This may come from emotion, from exhaustion you have hidden for too long, or from the moment when you recognize that you cannot continue living in the same way. Breathe slowly, and do not fear your feelings. You do not need to transform every sensation into a mysterious sign. I can meet you within very ordinary things. A deep breath, a wise decision, an honest conversation, or a night when you allow yourself to rest. Heaven is drawing you back into alignment, not through force, but through peace. That helps you recognize what agrees with the values and purpose placed within you. Follow that peace, because something significant is gradually forming around your name. It may be a new opportunity, a healthier environment, restoration within your family, or the courage to begin again. But the greatest thing may not be what causes everyone to marvel. Sometimes the real miracle is that you no longer need to prove yourself, no longer remain awake all night because someone left, and no longer fear entering what is unfamiliar. I am building within you a stability that judgment cannot steal, clarity that prevents you from chasing every door, and pure self-respect that helps you receive only what does not demand the sacrifice of your peace. Those who once opposed you may not understand the change taking place. They were accustomed to the version of you who remained silent and endured, returned easily, or continually attempted to please everyone. As you begin establishing boundaries, speaking the truth kindly, and refusing to participate in useless conflict, they may become confused. But you do not need to transform your growth into retaliation. Do not wait for the day when others must be astonished by your success. Wait for the day when you can look upon them without bitterness, controlling your heart. Your victory is not found in someone else's failure. It is found in the fact that what they did no longer possesses the authority to determine the person you become. Jesus is reminding you that the season in which pain ruled over you must come to an end. This does not mean that from tomorrow onward You will never face another trial, but those trials will no longer encounter the same person you once were. You now possess wisdom from your mistakes, discernment from deception, and courage from seasons you thought you could not survive. You are standing at the beginning of a miracle you once did not dare ask for, because at that time you only hoped for enough strength to survive. Now you are learning to ask for more than rescue: a purposeful life, sincere relationships, lasting stability, and joy that does not depend upon applause. Heaven is not asking you to appear strong in this moment. I am simply inviting you to preserve stillness. Stillness is not surrender. It is the place where you stop reacting from fear and begin listening with discernment. Lay down the need to resolve everything today. You do not need to answer every criticism, correct every misunderstanding, or decide your entire future in one evening. Certain answers appear only when your mind is no longer pressured by noise. Rest long enough to recognize the voice of wisdom and distinguish it from anxiety, merely repeating old experiences. Remain with me until the end of this quiet moment and listen carefully. The noise of the world cannot steal what I have prepared for you, but it can make you too distracted to recognize what you already possess. Therefore, step away for a moment from comparison, fearful predictions, and the need to prove that you are progressing quickly. You do not need to keep your eyes upon the screen. Keep your heart directed toward truth. Do not close yourself merely because you were disappointed before. Because wisdom is different from building a wall no one can enter. You can remain cautious while keeping your heart open. Remember the lesson without living in suspicion, and love without abandoning boundaries. The truth that is approaching will not be a lightning strike that frightens you, but a light revealing what has existed within you for a long time. You were loved even before becoming perfect. You were seen even during seasons when no one acknowledged you. You traveled farther than you realized, even when you felt still. What is beginning now is not happening because you did everything correctly, but because you learned how to return after every fall. Continue breathing, my beloved. The right door will not require you to destroy yourself in order to enter. The right blessing will not force you to live in fear that it can be taken away. And the road I open will lead you toward a more peaceful, clear, and mature version of yourself. My beloved, I am calling you to pause in this moment because the breakthrough you have been waiting for is no longer as distant as you once believed. Do not rush back toward familiar noise, and do not allow impatience to pull you from the silence opening before you. If you could see what I have quietly prepared, you would understand that not one day of waiting was wasted. Not one tear fell without being seen, and not one time you rose in weakness failed to move you closer to a new season. You once believed destiny was only a beautiful dream far away. But at this very moment, what existed within hope is beginning to take shape in your life. I am not saying that everything will change overnight. I am saying that a door has opened within you, and through that door, new choices, new opportunities, and a new way of living will gradually be revealed. Remain still in peace, not through tension, as though you must hold your breath to preserve a blessing, but through the attentiveness of someone ready to listen. Jesus is not approaching with condemnation or reproach, but with a loving affirmation that change has begun. It may not yet create loud movement around you, but within the most hidden place, you are no longer the same. You are becoming weary of what was once considered normal, but continually depleted you. You no longer want to diminish yourself to fit environments lacking respect, nor are you as willing to return to someone merely because you fear loneliness. Genuine transformation often begins this quietly. You see more clearly, pause at the right time, and stop giving old wounds authority over your future. The door that remained closed for so long is beginning to move, not because you used more strength to push it, but because the proper time is drawing near. I did not withhold what was good in order to make you sad or cause you to doubt my love. Certain things, if they arrived too early, would have been used to fill inner emptiness. Some opportunities, if they opened before you established boundaries, would have brought people who wanted only to benefit from your kindness. Some relationships, if they appeared before you learned to value yourself, would have caused you to continue accepting ambiguity and calling it love. Therefore, delay can sometimes be protection. I waited until you no longer merely desired to receive, but also became mature enough to preserve, manage, and use what is entrusted to you with humility. The waiting period may begin ending today, not because you remain in front of a screen longer, but because you decide not to continue living as someone imprisoned by the past. You do not have to earn my love by following a ritual or trying to prove that you possess enough faith. What I desire is for you to receive the truth supporting you. Former failures are not predictions concerning tomorrow. One person's rejection is not a verdict concerning your worth, and one closed door does not mean every road has disappeared. Today can become the beginning of the moment when you stop calling yourself by names pain once placed upon you. Stop using delay to conclude that you have been forgotten, and stop sacrificing peace to preserve what has already reached the end of its season. Follow me, because something significant is forming around your name, though it may differ from your former expectations. It may be an opportunity through which your talent is used in the right place, an environment where you no longer need to remain continually defensive, or a relationship bringing sincerity instead of ambiguity. It may also be an inward restoration. You no longer remain awake because someone left, no longer panic about the future, and no longer attempt to impress others in order to feel valuable. I want you to understand that a miracle does not always cause the entire world to notice. Sometimes the miracle is the moment when you look within yourself and realize that bitterness is no longer there, that the memory remains but no longer controls your reaction, and that peace has become the place to which you return instead of chaos.